Hey, it's Anthony Iannarino, and I want to talk to you about the challenges of leadership. Here's the thing, how much can you take? And your success as a leader is really how much can you take? And what I mean by that is not how much stress can you take, but how many things can you take care of at one time? How much can you really impact the business? And I want to start by talking about what we perceive as challenges and then what are our real, true challenges. So I want to start with the things that cause people stress when you're in a leadership role, whether you're the leader of a whole organization as a CEO or if you're a leader as a manager, it's still a leadership role. So let's talk about client issues because these always feel like stress and there's always plenty of them going on. And I don't care how good your business is, you're going to have service issues, you're going to have client issues, you're going to have delivery issues. And when you walk into an Apple store, notice that at the back they have a Genius bar because they recognize that they're going to have tons and tons of challenges and they're going to need a smart group of people who know how to solve those challenges standing in the store so they can take care of you. But it's not that they don't have challenges and it's not that you don't either. You have to be willing to engage around client issues and client challenges because that's how you make your number. You end up with revenue because you have clients, so you have to take care of them and you have to do what's right. You're also going to lose clients, and that can cause people some stress and some strain because you have this other thing where you've got churn, and we talked about this on yesterday's video. You're trying to pour water into a bucket, but it's leaking out. So how do you deal with that? And that is an issue that comes with a great deal of urgency. In addition to that, as a leader, not only do you get the joy of having client issues, you also get employee issues. So you get to deal with employees leaving and having to rehire and retrain people to do their roles. You get employees who need your help. They're not quite up. They're missing the mindset, or they're missing the skill set, or they're missing the toolkit, but they're not quite up to the level that you need them to be. And it's your job to grow them to that level. So that's another challenge. And then there are always cultural challenges. There are always some negative people who are talking down the company and they're spreading that cancer by making sure that other people get to know how unhappy they are, and so they can commiserate and try to bring people onto their side. So all these things feel like stress, and they're all important, but they're not always urgent. And this is the area where we don't spend enough time as leaders. And that's the part where we reflect and we step away from the business and start thinking longer term, what am I here for? What's my purpose? Where am I taking this company? Where am I taking these people? Why am I taking them there? And what are our real strategic threats? And it turns out that the day-to-day issues are critically important, but they're not as important as what ends up being purpose and meaning and strategy. So you have to spend some time moving up to that level. And I want to make a point about this is the reason that these things matter is because we live in a world of continuous accelerating disruptive change. And if you haven't noticed, this internet thing seems to be sticking pretty well. And there's a lot of change going on in a lot of people's businesses, and it's major reconstruction of our economy. That's what it really is. So what really matters are the really big issues. And I want to make a couple ideas here for you. Blockbuster did not believe that Netflix was a threat. They misunderstood the nature of that threat, and there's no more Blockbusters. There's an empty building with weeds all around it in my neighborhood. Retailers did not understand the threat of Amazon. They just misunderstood and they miscalculated. And now that shoe salespeople, or shoes manufacturers rather, are going into Amazon, Foot Lockers and all these places are going to have a tremendous tough time keeping their revenue where it is. I don't think they're going to go out of business, but I do think that they're going to have a tougher time. The taxi industry didn't see Uber, and the hotel industry did not see Airbnb. They didn't see it. They weren't paying attention to the real risks and the real strategic threats to the business. And they weren't focused on strategy, and they weren't focused on long-term thinking. They were executing, but they weren't looking out far enough ahead. And I'm not throwing stones here because every single one of us is in this place unless you're really disruptive and you've done something new. But I want to tell you that there are some things that are worth your trouble to look at. And most of them end up being the complacency that we feel that we just need to execute on what we're already doing, and the complacency not to look at our business through a new lens and say, how are we going to be disrupted? Or if I was a new upstart, how would I disrupt this? And then we don't look at our employees and say, how do I grow these people in a way that builds a competitive advantage so that no matter what happens, I have an agile thinking group of people who are going to look at these threats and challenges with me and help me innovate and come up with new ways to do business. Even if it's just changing your internal processes now to create competitive advantage, that's what you have to spend time on as a leader. And I don't think there's anything more important than creating a culture of accountability around ideas like this and making sure that the culture is strong enough to attract those people to you. Because if you're going to get through an accelerating, disruptive, continuous change environment, you're going to want as many smart people around you as possible, and you want them to have an environment where they can grow and contribute and help you see around corners and come up with the next idea that moves your business forward. I'm Anthony Iannarino. You can find me at thesalesblog.com. You already found me right here, youtube.com. Share this with someone who needs it. Like this and do hit the subscribe button. This is Everyday.